Hello, Scrappy Peeps. Suzanna here today for Elle Studio, and I'm sharing with you this layout created using, the focus is on the True Loves tab stamp, so that's what I was showing you just there. This is part of a blog hop. Again, pardon the jumping camera. I don't know how to solve this dilemma. This is a layout that I created for a blog hop. So it's not a blog hop, I apologize. It's an IG hop. So be sure to head over to my IG and you will find lots of great inspiration from some of the other design team gals sharing their projects created using this same stamp set. So this is a multi-photo layout. It is a love layout, not necessarily a Valentine's Day layout. The pictures were taken on Valentine's Day, but in my house we call it St. Hallmark's Day. Those of you who know me know that very well. And so I am using the stamp here. You can see I have layered up some of the phrases from the tab stamp, and I am creating a border with it. I know the photo is going to go in the center, so I'm not going to close off that border, but you can see it's contiguous as the photo fills that white space there. So I used a few of the hearts to just give a little bit of more visual interest to that. And so it's not just sort of these random letters, and they're not random letters, but it's not just these, it draws your attention to the words because you've got that shape in there. So I have one larger photo and then these two smaller photos. So the larger photo was the two of us looking at the camera. And then the smaller photos is one me kissing him, and then the other is him kissing him, being my husband, Michael, kissing me. So so that's one use, is to create a border. Then another use for these great tab stamps is to actually use the tab itself and put a phrase in it. So I'm going to do that. I am using Distress Oxides. Those are what sit on my desk because of my memory planning. I like that they don't bleed through my memory planner. And I had to go in search of a piece of white smooth cardstock because that's what the layout is actually created on. I like to stamp when I'm stamping on my layouts. If I'm stamping directly onto the background, I like to make sure I have smooth white cardstock. And I do use basil there. So I've got my Big Shot, or Big Cake for me, out here, and I am using the coordinating die. So this die works for all of the tabs from Elle Studio. So I'm using that die, that metal die, to cut those out. You can see I have a phrase that says My Valentine in the top one, and I don't have a phrase in the second one, and that's okay because it's white space in the layout. Just because there is an opening there for phrases or dates or whatever, don't feel that you have to use it. I frequently will use labels. You'll see here I frequently use labels for the color, not because I feel that I have to fill them. Now, I will tell you that in the final layout, when you look at the close-ups, there is no journaling on this, and really there's no story to tell. These were just fun pictures that we took, and maybe I might come up with after the fact journaling that I want to put on there, but right now, as it is, I like the white space as it is. So again, I'm creating a border. I'm just going to repeat this phrase, just the two of us, all the way across. I had left space between each of the completed phrases, thinking that maybe I might put a little heart in there, a puffy sticker or something, but I really didn't leave myself enough room. So I could have taken a pen and maybe drawn a circle or my own little sort of black thin outline heart, which the reason I did not go back in and do that is because I am going to use the heart stamp, the repeated heart stamp again in black, and I like the way that offsets the dark contrast in my shirt. And I think my shirt is actually black and gray striped, so I wasn't sure if it was blue. It might have been navy, but I'm pretty sure it's the black and gray thin gray stripes. So using some of the other February, I love these. These are going to be super awesome in my memory planner. I'm glad that I have 2 sets of these because I can foresee using them. They're bright colors, so they're kind of like labels, but the space is on repeat. So you can see I just kind of housed that on my trimmer for now. I'm going to go off camera and use these metal dies. Unfortunately, these are sold out. Hopefully, Elle brings them back. These are super awesome, these heart dies. So you can see I have this larger photo stacked directly over the 2 smaller photos. I am going to shift that, and the reason I'm going to shift that is it feels like if you were to be on a seesaw with the weight of all of those photos just on the left-hand side, that the seesaw is going to tip. So I'm going to create a diagonal in this, and so I'm working in a central column, right? You can see that column that's created by the green header and the green footer. But if I put everything on the left-hand side of that column, then the seesaw is going to tip and you don't have balance in the layout. So by moving that larger photo over to the right-hand side, I'm able to maintain a diagonal line, which then creates balance within that column. I hope that makes sense to you. And so now I'm just putting some embellishments in, really. I'm working with, you can obviously see the color palette here, green, pink, and red, which is an unusual color palette for me. But I like it. And I like the way it sort of ties in the love theme, as the title of this is going to be My Love. So you can see my shirt is very, 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 there's a huge contrast here between the black and the white, and it's a stark contrast. There isn't a mid-tone that softens that black. It needs to have other blacks somewhere in the layout in order to soften that stark contrast there. So coming up, I will use that stamp set again to go in and stamp to provide that contrast. I love these puffy stickers. They are, they're fun. They're just, yeah, they're a great way to add just little bits and pieces. And I like the circular softness against all of my very obvious horizontal lines that I've created here. So I'm going to create a third cluster. Really, it's a third cluster up here. I will off camera go ahead and embellish this even further. I don't believe I do this on camera, but I found some of the florals, the spring florals from last year's collection. I'm pretty sure it's either the February or March collection. And so I'm going to pick out the same colors that tie into this for just a little bit more. I don't need more embellishment, but I did feel like that top cluster needed a little bit more. And I like to have each of the clusters be different typically, but I like them to have similar elements. And so you can see I've got 3 circles, one in each of the clusters, but it just needed a little bit more up the top. It just felt like it was there because it needed to be there, but it didn't feel complete. So I will pull out those flowers and put those in there. I will also put a pink label, and the stamping I'm going to do off camera, but you're going to see it in there. See that stamping? Doesn't that actually, it softens the whole thing. So be sure to head over to IG and hop along with the other gals and see how they've used this stamp set. Enjoy the close-ups. Thanks for stopping in today. I hope you're doing well. Come back again soon. Take care.